What's going on, guys? Zach RC here, welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 5 of the Breaking Point story mode. We'll be continuing on to the next chapter in the series. This is the Italian Grand Prix, several weeks after the last round in the British Grand Prix. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure to go check that one out. I'm not going to read that because I didn't give myself enough time when I was recording it, but there's a cutscene here, so I'm just going to shut up and let you guys watch it.
I'm not sure if it's something to do with the energy storage. I'm losing power on the straights.
Right. And you said the acceleration was okay? We'll take a look at it.
And how are we today, chaps? Everything running smoothly, I hope.
All right, Brian. Yeah, we're just going through a few last-minute tweaks.
Ah, that's what I like to see. With dedication like that, maybe you'll be able to get us back a few more of those points, eh?
Yeah, I'll try.
Actually, Aiden, I'm glad I've caught up with you. Thought you might like to know. I had a call this morning from Christian Horner. Mentioned you directly.
Oh.
I think they're sniffing around for next season. You're being watched.
So, no pressure then?
So, what's the problem with the car?
I'm losing power on the straights. It's not a massive issue. I'm sure we can deal with it.
Yeah, theoretically, do we have time to install the Spec 2 unit before the race?
Yes, boss.
And Casper's reporting no problems?
No.
Okay, let's do it. Put the Spec 2 in Aiden's, would you?
Well, that would sort it. I mean, if you're sure.
Of course. You could do with a little boost. A little boost. Besides, anything for our star driver. Casper, how are you today? Feeling good about the race?
Well, that was quite controversial there, as Brian decided to give us the Spec 2 unit as opposed to Casper, who was literally standing right there. We're sitting in a little hub room right now, just looking at some of the stuff here, the Devons and the details. That's the main press briefing in front of us, but we're not really look at that. Yeah, so we're just waiting around for the start of the Grand Prix. I'm really looking forward to this one because I really enjoy doing Monza. We've got some new posts there, so we're going to take a look at those. So we're just going to scroll through. Oh, we've got a call coming in, and it's from Brian, so we're going to answer that.
Brian.
Aiden, I'm glad I've caught you. Listen, don't worry about Casper.
Let me stop you there. Brian, Casper's the furthest thing from my mind right now. I've got a race to focus on.
Good man. In the garage just now, that was my fault. I know how he can be.
What, childish? Self-centered? I'm sick of it, Brian. He's been on my case ever since I joined the team. He needs to grow up.
Okay. You just leave Casper to me and get your head in the race. Let's put that new power unit to good use, eh?
Sure thing, Brian. See you on the other side.
Alright, well, it was good of Brian's call to address the issue he thought he created in the garage, but like Aiden said, Casper's the first thing from my mind. We've got a race to run. Take a look at the emails we've got now. So, email from Jeff about the weekend. We always get one of those. One from our PR agent about a photo shoot we're doing tomorrow, as well as an interview. So, and then finally there's the email from Colin Perry about the trackside interview. So we don't really want to pay too much attention to that. Nothing too important in the emails, but like I say, I'm really looking forward to doing this one. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the race. Jackson looks to take full advantage of his car's new power unit, to the vexation of his teammate Casper Ackerman. With the grid set and his focus locked in, Jackson is eager to show Ackerman why AlphaTauri signed him. Italian Grand Prix, race day.
Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action, and we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Here we are then, Monza, the 90th time this event has been held. So a special year for F1 fans, particularly the Italians, who are rightly proud of this event and its heritage.
Yeah, it always feels a bit special here, doesn't it, Crofty? Hamilton holds the joint record with Schumacher for number of wins here at 5 apiece, but could snatch it outright today with a 6.
Nearly 100 years of history here, so let's see what this year holds in store for the Italian Grand Prix.
Right, let's see if we can squeeze some performance out of this new power unit. Good luck out there today.
Alright, here we are now on the grid for the start of the race. We're starting down in P18 as opposed to Casper, who started coming in P4. Don't know how I pulled that kind of performance out of the AlphaTauri, but we're going to go to 5 red lights now. The objective is to beat Ackerman in today's race. 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and we are underway. It's not the best to start to get bogged down like we normally do in career mode videos, but everyone starts to pull away from us slightly. We keep both Latifi and Giovinazzi behind us. We're going to try and go for one heck of a dive bomb going into turn 1. That is normally the strategy. Rackham's coming in front of us though. We're going to pull out and just about get past him, and that'll burst up into a decent position here through turn 1, going around the outside, running it onto the, very nearly onto the grass, sorry, onto the gravel, right on the grass, but we've moved up into P15, so there's been a success from the from making a dive bomb at the first corner. We're running just behind Magnussen here, and his teammate Butler's just in front of us, doing want to try and make a move on those guys. Pulling out to the left hand side, we've got Butler, Magnussen and Ocon all right there, and that puts us up into 12th place, 3 guys in 1 chicane, so I'm very pleased with that move. Next up the road is Stroll, so we've got work to do. He's about a second behind, but he's being slowed up by the guys in front of him, so we should be able to catch up to him. No problem. We come towards the end of the second sector now. We'll be heading down towards Ascari this time. Here we come, trying to get around Stroll. Pulled out a gap of about a second back to Ocon, so we haven't got too much worries out behind us. We're not be able to get him going into Ascari, but hopefully we can try and get him on the exit. Going through this chicane, we've got way more speed than he does. That power unit really doing us justice. We pull out to the left hand side, trying to make that move. We don't have the slipstream this time. We could try again and try and stay behind him and get close enough. Could we pull one to the inside going down to Parabolica? We're going to try to switch back, go around the outside. There's contact, and we've lost a bit of the front wing, and that could be costly for us. We're not going to pivot. We're going to stay out here because I reckon we can still manage the damage, but that may cost us later on. We'll keep the current strategy we've been sticking with throughout this first lap. Moving on to lap 2 now. We've moved up into 11th place. That's around 6 or 7 places gained on that first lap. Joel's trying to go around the outside. We're not going to let him go for it. We'll go up down at the inside of the player as well, so that puts us up into the points. Ackerman's still in 4th. He's still the main target. We've got work to do here. So going now towards the end of lap number 2. Ricciardo fell away, but now we're battling Norris and Albon. We go around the outside of Norris, going through Parabolica. We sort of force him off there, trying to go up the inside of Albon, going towards the start line and back down towards turn 1. Perez is going to give us the room that we need to sneak by. We're going to dive to the inside, and that should be enough to put us up into 6th place. Moving on now towards the end of lap 3, call Casper Ackerman. Signs sort of fell away. We managed to get past him easily. We're going to try to go around the outside of Ackerman, go down towards Parabolica. We still got that front wing damage, remember? So the fact we're still able to get as much pace out of the car as we pass Ackerman there, the fact we was getting that much out of the car is purely down to the Spec 2 unit and some incredibly fast driving by myself. I don't like to brag. So moving on now towards the end of lap number 5, and skipping ahead quite a bit here. We've managed to close up a bit more to Verstappen and Bottas, who are running P3 and P2. We're about a second and a half behind those guys. We've got work to do, but I reckon we can definitely do it with the amount of pace we managed to extract from this car so far. Doing a really good job here. Look how close they're coming in turn 1. We can now see their name tags, which is always a big thing on the F1 game, if you ask me. So going now towards the end of the start of lap 7, pit window's now open. We're going to pit this lap. So we're going to try and close up a little bit more to the Verstappen, trying to move from Bottas in front of us. So that their battling allows us to close back in. And right there now, we've hit the back of Bottas' car, but we managed to withstand from drawing any damage. So moving on towards coming out of the 2 Lesmos and heading down towards the end of the second sector. Bottas has DRS and Verstappen. We have DRS and Bottas, so we're going to try and move around, going around the outside, going through it, going towards Ascari, and that puts us up into 3rd place, puts us on the podium here. Verstappen is now our next target, but I doubt we'll try and get him, if I'm being entirely honest. It'd be safer to go for the pit stop, or just stay behind him once you get through the pit stop phase. So going through Parabolica now, we're going to try and get one, but we can't quite move in, not quite close enough to Verstappen to make that move stick. So it looks like Verstappen's going to stay out. We're pitting this time. In we come. So there we go. Moving now into the pit stop. Hamilton also chose to pit, so hopefully we're not going to hold him up too much when he leaves his pit box. Here's the AlphaTauri crew ready to serve us now. Hopefully, so they're going to change that front wing, so that should give us that little bit of pace back due to the damage we sustained on the first lap battling Stroll. We're falling places, falling through the field. Obviously, that's an 8.6 second pit stop as we exit our pit box and make the exit out of the pit lane, going back out onto the racetrack, and that'll put us down quite a few places because there's obviously a couple of guys who pitted with us the first time around. We've fallen down to P14, so we've got a bit of work to do in order to close that gap back up. But obviously, come the next lap, there's a bunch of guys who are pitting, and just as I say that, here we come to the start of lap 9. We're going to move all the way back up through the field, and we've come out ahead of Ackerman, and that is the crucial thing that we needed to get out today. So we're beating him, and we can now focus on Verstappen and Bottas once again in front of us. Because we're beating Ackerman, but I'd like to get on that podium if I'm being entirely honest. So moving further on now into the race, we're now around the start of lap 12, and we've moved on quite a bit because we finally caught back up to those two in front of us. We're about half a second behind Bottas. We're into the grass there slightly. We've managed to keep it out of there. We set a purple sector 1. We've already set the fastest lap of the race. We've set another purple sector 1. We've made contact with the back of Bottas' car. So we're going to want to try and refrain from doing that anymore. We're going to try and pull to the inside of him now, going through the right-hander, but on the inside, and that's a nice clean move up into third place once again, back on the podium. And we've got the DRS on Verstappen as well. He's only half a second in front of us. I doubt we'll be able to catch Hamilton this later on in the race, but we're closing in on Verstappen, but Bottas is closing in on us. He's not going to be close enough to make a move. Going through a scurry we come. There's a bit of contact once again with Verstappen. We'll try and get sorry, there isn't a DRS here, I forgot. Down the straight we come. Verstappen's pulling away. We could try and send a move into Parabolica if we can get close enough. I don't think we'll be able to get close enough this time. Bottas is trying to close in. He's not going to try and make a move. We make contact with the back of Verstappen's car. I really didn't break enough there just to refrain from contact. We're going to have a DRS this time. And the closer we get, the better, because that means we're going to need to do less flexing to get past. It's at the fastest lap of the race once again. We're on the inside of Verstappen, and that should be all she wrote in the case of this race. We've moved up into second place on the start of the final lap of the Grand Prix, and that is pretty much all she wrote for this Grand Prix. Verstappen and Bottas were unable to catch as we run to the line to finish a remarkable P2 in the AlphaTauri, and that spec engine really helped us a great deal in this race.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Well, quite the rivalry forming between the rookie Aiden Jackson and his veteran teammate Casper Ackerman.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when Hamilton signed for McLaren back in 2007. And we all know how that one ended. Alonso returned to Renault pretty much the moment the season wrapped up.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. So, a podium finish. The team must be overjoyed with your driving today. Can you talk us through it, Aiden?
I mean, it's the podium. What more could you want? Everything seemed to come together today. Great pace, good team strategy, and I managed to extract some good performance from the car. I couldn't be happier.
A big talking point, irrespective of today's results, is how you've improved overall throughout the season. What would you say to that?
I couldn't do it without the support of the team. They've been incredible. I'm feeling looked after, and I couldn't ask for more. So any improvements are thanks to them.
It's funny you should mention the team as a whole. Can you give us an update? How is the current relationship between you and Casper Ackerman?
Look, driver relationships are always going to be tricky. Individually, you're always pushing yourselves, and that can cause friction. I can't let anything like that worry me. Besides, we're fine.
Thank you for your time.
Well, that was a very enjoyable race, but that'll be the end of today's episode. Look at the description for Chapter 6 though. With only a handful of races remaining in the season, time is running out for AlphaTauri to secure the points needed to finish above their mid-pack rivals in the Constructors' Championship. But we'll have to leave that for another episode, guys, so I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, share and subscribe, and with that I will see you in the next episode. See you guys, have a good day, and I will see you later.